Hi, this is Irina K, and welcome back to my channel, AstroBabushka. I am a Vedic astrologer, and I apply ancient, more than 3,000 years old knowledge to modern times. Today is all about Uranus. Uranus is playing a big role in current worldwide events. Most nations born after Second World War, which are India, Israel, both Koreas, China, NATO, Japan, and many decolonized states, share Uranus in the end of sidereal Taurus or beginning of sidereal Gemini. Those placements encoded modernization, reconstruction, and atomic order. But before moving into astrology, let's decode Uranus itself, its mythology, its story. In Greek mythology, Uranus was the first sky father, the endless dome of consciousness that covered the Earth Mother, Gaia. He was not yet a god in human form, but a principle, pure potential, the unshaped field of intelligence from which all creation could arise. He represented the limitless mind before matter solidified, the idea before incarnation. Yet, as often happens with limitless power, Uranus feared what he created. When Gaia gave birth to Titans, he saw in them forces that he could not control. He tried to push them back into the darkness of the earth, imprisoning possibility inside its own mother. Creation turned on itself. But one of those children, Kronos, Saturn, would not be contained. At Gaia's urging, he lifted his sickle and cut open the sky, separating heaven from earth. That single act became the first cosmic revolution, the moment when consciousness and form divided, so that evolution could begin. Uranus was dethroned, but his blood and light spilled into the sea, and from the foam rose Aphrodite, the goddess of love and connection. So even in defeat, Uranus birthed beauty. From separation came desire, the longing of heaven and earth to reunite. This story is not myth alone. It is the template of every age of discovery. Whenever Uranus is triggered in the heavens, the same pattern repeats. Something long suppressed, an idea, technology, or consciousness, bursts free from the order that contained it. It liberates, yet wounds the world that birthed it. Every invention is a cut in the fabric of the known. In 1945, the blade became the atom bomb. In 2026, it becomes the algorithm, an invisible blade of light inside the human mind. Back to astrology. During the February 2026 Dhanishta eclipse, the ancient drama plays again. The eclipse aligns with the star Sadr, the heart of the Swan, a star whose light has always symbolized grace, beauty, and the soul's capacity to ascend through art and love. At the same time, Uranus in Taurus stands at a hard square, shaking the foundations of matter itself. Heaven and earth once more strain against each other. The fixed earth of Taurus resisting the electric wind of Aquarius. Sadr's music calls for harmony, but Uranus answers with thunder. The song of the Swan meets the hum of the machine. In the old star lore, Cygnus, the swan, glides along the Milky Way, wings outstretched like a cosmic cross. Its heart star Sadr is said to hold the memory of a divine balance, the meeting point where spirit and matter breathe together. When Sadr is awakened, something within humanity remembers its celestial origin. We're not circuits or shadows, but living expressions of the same luminous field that once covered Gaia. An eclipse on Sadr, however, transforms that gentle awareness into revelation through transmutation. It's not the flood or destruction, but the moment of song before transformation, the swan song that announces both ending and enlightenment. Square Uranus, this becomes a cosmic initiation, a reminder that awakening often feels like being torn open. So as the sky repeats its ancient drama, the battlefield is no longer between titans and gods. It's within us, within our heart, within our nervous system. The tools of our age, artificial intelligence, fusion energy, quantum code, are the new titans born from the womb of human thought. And like Uranus, we are tempted to repress what we have created, to hide from its magnitude. But the myth warns us, suppression only makes revolution inevitable. The sickle will rise, the heavens will open, light will spill again. The real question is not whether the cut will come, it is what kind of beauty will emerge from the blood and foam this time. And that is the essence of 2026. The eclipse on Sadr, square Uranus, reenacts a separation of heaven and earth. Consciousness cracking open to birth something unprecedented. Promethean fire escapes its container once more, and the swan sings as it lifts from the waters. So again, most nations born after World War II, India 1947, Israel 1948, both Koreas, China 1949, NATO, Japan, and many decolonized states share Uranus in Taurus or Gemini. Those places encoded modernization, reconstruction, and atomic order. Now, the Aquarian eclipse squares that natal Uranus, reactivating the founding pulse of the post-war world. The same planetary signature that built atomic reactors and communication networks is being shocked again, but this time through AI, quantum technology, and uranium geopolitics. Uranus governs the unseen forces of liberation and atomic energy. Every time the collective Uranus is jolted by an eclipse or hard angle, humanity confronts its own invention. In 1945, atomic fire released, 1986, Chernobyl and digital globalization, 2026, AI autonomy, quantum technologies, and new uranium geopolitics. Those Uranus squared by eclipse describes not destruction, but re-ionization of civilization, electrons jumping orbit to a higher state. Now, let's go over all countries. In China, Uranus 11-degree Gemini in 8th house, squaring Sun in Virgo in 9th. It is hidden transformation, secret intelligence, and economic mutation. 2026 eclipse square Uranus tells us about major revelation in financial systems or covered technologies. Sadr's light exposes what was hidden, ideological control versus transparency. In Israel's chart, Uranus sits at 1st degree of Gemini in the 9th house with Venus, the whole chart ruler, radical thinker on faith and law. In 2026 eclipse square Uranus, the renewal in foreign relations or religious leadership can happen. Sadr demands compassion and moral clarity. The swan's heart testing whether intellect can coexist with empathy. For the United States, in the chart from 1776, Uranus sits at 18-degree Taurus in 6th house, innovation in work and technology. So the eclipse, February 2026, can trigger a reconfiguration of economic and workforce structures. Sadr inspires humanitarian reform over profit motives. In the NATO chart, Uranus sits at 3rd at 3 degrees of Gemini in a 10th house conjuncting Moon, aspected by Mars. It's all about alliance of data and defense. So the eclipse, February 2026, tells us about strategic shifts and digital realignment. Sadr calls for cooperation above fear. The Swan urging harmony within power grids. Pakistan have Uranus at 2nd degree Gemini in 3rd house conjuncting Mars at 7 degrees, so not that far. Restless borders and communications. 2026 February eclipse can trigger possible territorial or media shock. Sadr encourages dialogue over reaction. For India chart from 1950, Uranus sits at 8 degree Gemini in the 4th house cusp. So naturally it's a domestic modernization and digital unity. So eclipse February 2026 can trigger infrastructure upgrade and shift in national identity. Sadr awakens heart-centered patriotism. Japan. Here Uranus in the end of Taurus, 28 degree in the 7th house, trining Moon, natal Moon, ruler of the 9. So naturally it speaks about innovation through alliances and aesthetics. So the eclipse will trigger renegotiation of trade and partnerships. Sadr adds spiritual tone, leadership through ethics and beauty. The Russia's chart, 1990, Uranus sits at 14 degrees Sagittarius in the 4th house, squaring Mars in the 7th. So it's all about homeland transformation. So this eclipse will awaken a domestic identity and resources. Sadr opens emotional intelligence within power. So all the post-Soviet states that are from 1990 to 1991 have Uranus in Sagittarius. It's all about reform and intellectual freedom. So this eclipse will be in a sextile. So it might give a sign of innovation and youth-driven progress. Sadr energizes grace in rebuilding. Across nations, Uranus represents the electrical seed of freedom planted after World War II. The 2026 eclipse on Sadr squares or aligns with those seeds, forcing a collective retuning. Revelation instead of repression, compassion guiding technology, artistry restoring humanity to the machine. The heart of the Swan sings one message through them all. Evolution must carry grace, or freedom turns into fracture. And as the shadow crosses Sadr, I can only hope the eclipse will not wound the Swan's heart, but teach us to pause and truly listen to what it whispers. The myth asks us the eternal question. Will we use the light to create or to dominate? Will we let the Swan's heart guide the machine's mind? If we remember Sadr, the heart that balances sky and earth, then every shock becomes an awakening. Every revolution is an act of beauty. For the true song of Uranus is not chaos, maybe, but a creation through enlightenment. Thank you for watching, and I hope it resonated with you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.